Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Monday, July 13th meeting of the Hyde Park Town Board, the virtual meeting of the Hyde Park Town Board. It's our regular meeting. We have public hearings on the agenda, as well as a workshop put on whereby we have invited our Town Comptroller, Joanne Lown, to give a short presentation on our independent audit from the year 2019. Later on in the year, we will have a more formal presentation done by O'Connor Davies, who performed the audit, but we did want to get this on the agenda as soon as possible so we can accept it and file the necessary paperwork. So it will be an interesting meeting. We also have a couple of public hearings about laws that are in process, and I think we're ready to go. The only thing I do need is we have a couple of adjustments to our agenda. The first is I'll need a motion to pull agenda item number 10, that's commencing the local law process for local law D for the use of all-terrain vehicles. And so may I have a motion to pull that from the agenda? We have a few additional tweaks that we wanted to do prior to putting that forth.
I make a motion.
And a second?
Second.
Got on mute.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Any opposed? Okay, and then I'd also look for a motion from one of the board members to amend agenda item number 8, and that's authorizing entrance into various properties for lawn maintenance. We did have compliance from Hyde Park Motors, that's 4390 Albany Post Road. So I'd like for a motion to amend that agenda item, that resolution, removing 4390 Albany Post Road.
I make that motion.
No, second that.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'm definitely very pleased to see that the property owners are responding to these notices and taking care of their overgrown lawns. So, okay, so that's the housekeeping. Actually, forgot an important item. Please join me as I pledge allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So I had things a little backwards, but Donna, that doesn't matter, does it? It's okay. All right. Good. So we did, Donna's muted, Neil, so you might want to unmute.
There we go.
There we go. So Donna, that's okay?
Yes, it is.
I have it backwards. Okay.
Everyone needs to unmute themselves.
I'm sorry?
Everyone needs to unmute themselves when they want to speak. I don't have that power.
Oh, okay. All right. So another housekeeping item, may I have a motion to accept the minutes of June 22nd?
I make that motion.
And a
Second.
second? And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, and we have given people the option to speak at our public hearings, but we also typically have public comment on the resolutions, and we do offer people the ability to send those comments in to our town clerk. And we did have someone who stopped by today and delivered those comments. So Donna, would you like to go ahead and read that, please?
Sure. Dear members of the town board, I write to you with a heavy heart. The current state of affairs in our country has driven America as a whole to a boiling point. I cannot speak for every citizen of our great nation, but I can speak for myself as a current citizen of Hyde Park. It has been an honor to live in this beautiful town and raise my children in it. The discussion of race, as well as war on law and order, is a deep concern for me. I am a first-generation American of Nigerian and Zambian descent. Most people would call me African American, but I'm a child of God first and an American. That is how I see myself. I understand the need as an American for tolerance, empathy, and inclusion, but at what point do we draw the line? My approach to any and every situation is to apply preventative measures so as to not have to deal with the fallout from potentially catastrophic events. I have seen the ripple effect and the war on police currently sweeping the nation. It's right next door in New York City. I refuse to raise my children in a mock, autonomous, dystopian society where what makes you happy because your feelings overthrow facts is the foundation of our laws. I understand the police are my first line of defense, short of owning a weapon, in a society that pushes for lawlessness. I will not support the move to defund our police in any capacity. I am not suggesting that the question has arisen inside the town of Hyde Park. I am only saying that if it does, it's not something we as a town should entertain. The narrative is completely on the opposite side, but I will stand with my local police in solidarity. I have lived in poor communities where crime is high and police are scarce, and you need them. Trust me, the answer to less crime and police violence in society is never defund your police. Do I know what the answer is? No. I'm sure whatever the answer is, it's a long-term solution to an immediate problem. A solution which I'm more than happy to be a part of as long as it doesn't end with a compromise for local safety. The Bible says in the second half of the scripture found in Ecclesiastes 3:8, a time of war and a time of peace. There are those that have chosen in this day to usher in a time of war, a war against American ideals, rule of law, on our police. I'm seeing how the war is being fought for the soul of our nation. I cannot sit idly by and not fight for what I believe in. It is my hope that no matter how bad things get, we remember our police are civilians as well, just looking to make it home safely to their families. I must reiterate, I stand with our police in solidarity. My family and I will do whatever we can to support them. Thank you for allowing my voice to be heard. Have a great day and God bless you. And it's signed, regards, Cassina Obaro of Hyde Park.
Thank you, Donna, and thank you, Mr. Obaro, for your public comments. That is the only ones that we received in writing. And I did want to just let the board know where we are along with the county in terms of meeting the governor's requirements to update our rules and regulations to reflect the changes that are being put forth to address police violence and Black Lives Matter. So the county executive is convening a committee of all the mayors and supervisors who have police departments. So that will begin that process this coming Thursday. And the topic of the first meeting will be really understanding the regulations that we currently have, their weaknesses and their strengths, and what we have to do to enhance them to meet these new challenges. So that's the first layer. The second layer of the county's initiative will be to bring in stakeholders from approximately 25 different groups and organizations and individuals who can provide input to us on our initiatives and the efforts that we're making, and that'll be an ongoing conversation. And the third area will get to be the police chiefs. So they are meeting on a regular basis and working through, these are very detailed and important legislative changes, and so there will be lots of discussion, lots of opportunity for the public to weigh in. We've talked to our police chief on how we would like to go forward ourselves as a community to have these discussions, and so we're working out a format to have some forums and that type of thing to make sure that we are engaging in this important conversation. So that's where we are in terms of the plan to effectuate those changes put forth by the governor's order. So I feel good about it. I'm glad that we have a structure to work through, and that we have input from various agencies, some of which are much bigger than our own, with the city of Poughkeepsie and the town of Poughkeepsie. And so their departments are extensive and have a breadth of experience. And so I'll keep everyone informed as we move forward in that process. So we do appreciate the public's participation. Okay, so we do have, as I said, 2 public hearings on our agenda. The first, I'd like to ask for a motion to open local law number B regarding definitions for indoor and outdoor recreation uses, and amending the schedule of use regulations to specify in which district such uses are permitted. May I have a motion?
Make that motion.
And a second?
A second?
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And like a lot of our laws, actually, I would say the majority, they're our response to requests from people within the community, or actually, in this case, it was a request from the zoning administrator's office to address what they considered a oversight or weakness in our prior law, where indoor recreation was not allowed in, well, actually, it was any recreation was not allowed in the neighborhood business district. And that law, as currently stands, does not divide recreation into indoor and outdoor, but instead we just had commercial recreation. And so, it was brought to our attention that we have a number of uses, such as yoga studio, karate studio, music studio, that would really make great sense to be used in our neighborhood business districts. In fact, that's probably the most appropriate places for them. So like all these things that we think are going to be very simple, they get increasingly more complicated as we explore them and talk to other people who've been involved in the application of the zoning code. And so I do think that we are very close to providing an amended law. Warren, I don't know if you have anything to add to that.
No, this has proved to be a formidable task, getting this local law into final form. But we're almost there. So we are going to make some changes to the law, and we should have it ready by the next town board meeting.
Okay, yes, and we'll make sure to have it on the desks of the town board, and look forward to getting that passed. So I don't believe that we had anyone register for that to make comments on that local law. Okay, so for our August 10th meeting, which a reminder will start at 6 p.m., we will have a new rendition of that law, and with any luck at all, we'll have a resolution on to pass it. Or that may end up being in the first meeting in September.
September, yeah.
September, okay. All right, so may I have a motion to postpone not postpone, but to extend the public hearing to August 10th.
Make that motion.
I'll second it.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, the ayes have it. Okay, the second public hearing is a continuation of the public hearing for local law C, local law to enact certain amendments to Chapter 108 zoning of the Code of the Town of Hyde Park to create a new zoning district entitled Town Core, and revising the zoning Chapter 108 to rename Town Center Historic District the Corridor Business District. And, again, just to review the local law process, it's one where we put out the proposed law, we circulate, we get comments, we revise, and this is an important law, so we've been doing our due diligence that way. We have been working with Bonnie Franson, a planner from Nelson Pope, and we are, still making some revisions in response to this law. And Warren, do you have any other comments that you'd like to add?
No, we've gotten some revisions from Bonnie. I think we need some further revisions. We'll be talking about it. And I think that we hopefully will be ready to have this law in final form and address some concerns that we've already received some feedback on by the August 10th meeting.
And at that August 10th meeting, we will likely recirculate the law. We've discussed to county planning and the planning board, and we will, look forward to their response to our revised law.
Right.
Okay, so Neil, do we have someone who would like to provide public comments?
We had someone who registered, but there's nobody in the waiting room.
Okay. Well, perhaps next time. Okay, so may I have a motion to extend the public hearing on this law to August 10th?
I make that motion.
And I'll second it.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Nope. Okay, the ayes have it. Great. Okay, so again, I'd like to welcome Joanne Lown, our town comptroller, to our meeting. We have, as every year since I've been in town hall, performed an independent audit, and Joanne is going to give us a brief review of the most important items. So welcome, Joanne, your first virtual meeting.
Thank you. Good to see everybody. So we did receive the final audit from the auditors on June 23rd. So it's nice that we'll be able to finish that due to all of the obstacles that we encountered the first few months of the year. But I'm pleased to say we're ready to file it. And the auditors will be doing a better presentation than I'm going to do. But I thought it was important to just kind of talk about your fund balances. That seems to always be, the question, where are we with those? Not so much the activity, but, what's the end result for the year? So I wanted to start with page 54. And 54 is actually a schedule for general fund, which shows the activity. If you see the column, it says actual for the year ending December 31st, 2019. The first part of it talks about the revenues. They're all summarized. And you can see that the revenues we received were approximately $7.5 million. Our expenses for the year were just shy of $7 million. So overall, we ended up with a net change in the positive of $547,843. We're very fortunate. A lot of it is not just the savings on our expenses, but it's also due to sales tax. Sales tax has been very kind to the town. Hopefully, we're not going to see too much of a decline going into 2021. But we have an excellent fund balance for general fund that I think going forward, during the budget time, we're going to find that we're still going to stay within the tax cap. On page, we'll go to page 63. That is the highway fund. And again, the first grouping is in the column 3, the actual are your revenues. And most of our revenues, as you know, 95% of them is tax levy for highway. We got in 3.1 million. Our expense was 3.2 million. And the reason for that is because we found that we had to use some more additional money for salt. And with Howie's help, we are finding a different method than paying such an expensive cost for this type 2 salt. We're going to start next year kind of doing a combination. So we think that we're going to save quite a bit of money. So overall, they did have a deficit of about $100,000. And their end of year fund balance was $725,171. Now going on to page 47.
So, and before you, we leave that page, so we had the deficit, but we used the snow reserve line to fund that.
We did use the snow reserve line, and we have to put that money back.
Mhm.
So eventually the board's going to have to decide if they're going to fully fund the 100,000 or if they want to do it over a 2-year period. So as time goes on, you know, we're looking at areas that we can save. Maybe we can find it in their unassigned fund balance to move that money.
Okay, sorry, so 47?
47 actually breaks down each of the fund balances.
Okay.
So in the first column, you see general fund. And if you work your way down, prepaid expenses, that's actually our New York State retirement system. We had paid it back in December 15th in full, which covered up through March of this year. So we consider that a reserve at the end of the year, just used toward the expenses in 2020. Restricted, I have to hand it to TC. He has almost fully funded all of our compensated absences, which means at the end of the year, we have a report that's given to us by personnel. It tells us at that point in time, if all the employees had left employment, what our liability is for vacation time, comp time, etc. And we have reserved out of that fund balance $560,000. We have money set aside for judgment and claims. We have yet to use that, but I believe one of your fund balance policies did dictate that you wanted to keep that money put aside just in case something did come up. So we have that reserved. The next column is assigned. Assigned, most of them are purchase orders we had at the end of the year that we had yet to expense. So we carried it over so we could reserve some of the fund balance to pay them off instead of going into this year's budget. And the $55,000, we use that to balance your budget for 2020. The biggest thing is that your fund balance that's unassigned right now is $2,178,993. That's approximately 65% of your full fund balance. So it's substantial, and I think when we go into the next chart, I'd like to show you a 7 years time frame of where we started and where we are today. The highway fund, again, that is started with our prepaid expenses, which is retirement. That's $156,226. We funded the compensated balances of $135,000. We put away $200,000 for the snow removal. And that left unassigned again at the end of 2019 of $233,945. The auditors don't recognize that you assign highway money, but we do in our books. And so it's nice. It's, you know, out of $725,000, you have a lot of it reserved for positive growth and positive reserves. And then you can put that chart up again. Sorry, Neil. This is 7 years worth of time. And you can see we started in 2013, and then what we just got audited in 2019. And our revenues grew over that period of time from almost 9 million to 10.6. And that's a combination of both general and highway. If you go, and the majority of that, you will find that's because you've increased your revenues, your fees, and also because of the sales tax and a little bit of the mortgage tax. Now, the expenses started at 8.6 million, almost 7 million, to 10.2. So you can see the difference between the revenue and the expense year in and year out, that we actually were always netting. We were always in the positive. You know, we exceeded our revenues exceeded our expenses. And when we began in 2013, we had fund balance again combined between general and highway of 1.6 or 1.70. And we added 202,000. So total, we had 216. Over that 7-year period, we've tripled our fund balance. It's now currently, again, between highway and general, 3,742,904. Prior to 2013, we had a fund balance, but it was all unassigned. When TC came in as part of the staff, he took it upon himself to encourage the board to start to reserve some of that fund balance. So it isn't used just to balance the budget. It's also looking at the future. And with that, you can see the unassigned for 2013 was almost 650,000. Unassigned today is again 2.4 million. We've reserved money year in and year out for compensated absences. For snow removal, you actually continue to build that up year in and year out. You start with 75,000. Went up to 140, went to 100, went to 200, 300, and today, at the end of the year again, it's at 200. We also had balanced the budget from year in to year out, and we really didn't have to use that much of our money. That is actually the first line, says assigned fund balance. We, in 2015, had 151,000 we put aside. When we adopted 2019, we only put 55,000. We were staying within the 2% tax cap, which is very positive, and we still were growing. So I think it's a testament to not just TC's ability to bring our town forward with positive results, but also the town board who has stood behind him and encouraged him to continue to plan this way. And I hope that in the future, I know that this year it's going to be a little bit different, but I believe we're still we're probably one of the few towns that are going to feel comfortable going into budgeting for 2021. So does anybody have any questions?
No.
Are my 3 minutes up?
As long as you're bringing good news, we let you have more than 3 minutes.
The auditors will definitely, bring more things out to light for you. But, I mean, you just need to know that our town is in very good financial state, and it's a positive, especially in these trying times.
Well, I really want to extend my thanks to you, Joanne, and to TC and the whole board. I mean, we do have a great team, everyone, and to all the personnel in town hall, you know, all the co-electeds and department heads, and you know, these positive results are really a result of us all working together, good strategy, good planning, and hard work. You know, so definitely appreciate all your hard work over the many years, and I think it shows. You know, we know our town pretty well, very much from the inside out. So
We're very fortunate, Aileen, that you have had such a grasp about everything, that you're able to take the information and be able to use it in a positive manner. So we thank you.
well, hey, I feel that same way about you, Joanne. And yeah, we've been getting stuff done too. And you know, the hard part is finding both the energy and the money for making actual improvements. But you know, it's a work in progress. We always are. But you know, we also want to thank the taxpayers for supporting us and for the hard work they've been doing on a lot of their homes and investment properties. And it's really, you know, our tax base grew over the last couple years in terms of the values, and so we're very grateful for that too. But as far as the sales tax on the county call today, for this year they're down 11%, the revenues. But that's much better than they were originally predicted.
Yeah.
40%. And so for this quarter, it's 8%, but for the year overall, it's 11%. But you know, as many people have observed, the real estate market is very strong right now. We're seeing a lot of turnover in homes, and fortunately, a lot of those people are taking out mortgages, and we receive a mortgage tax from that. And then they're making improvements on their house, so we're homes and investments, so we're obtaining sales tax. So things are looking good that way. I would say the industry that's going to be hurt the worst is the tourism industry, and they've really suffered. But I think Mary Kay Verba, who we wish her the best as she retires, said that they were about at 50% occupancy over this last weekend, the hotels, or maybe it was several weeks ago. So hopefully that's coming back too as we come to terms with COVID. So
So I know that I'm excited about where we're at, but yet I'm also very cautious and nervous about what 2021 is going to look like moving forward. I mean, we do know sales tax is going to be down. You know, we're not quite sure what all these phases are going to be moving forwards yet. So, you know, first of all, thank you, Supervisor and Comptroller's Office, for giving us a good fund balance to start with. But yet, I think we need to be very cautious. Now is not the time to take the foot off the pedal, because, you know, there is a huge wave coming in that we need to be really cautious about.
agreed.
I agree, Ken. Good statement.
Yeah. But, you know, there are other supervisors in other communities that are adjusting their staff by as much as 25% downward. But, you know, we're already very lean, and I don't see that really in our cards. We don't have an abundance, that we're not overstaffed in any capacity. So, you know, we're going to do our very best to keep managing the dollars, bringing in the revenues, and controlling expenses, and still trying to grow the town.
Right.
Okay. All right. Well, Joanne, thanks again.
Joanne, thank you. Great job. Thank you.
Thanks, Joanne.
Thank you, everybody.
Okay.
Thank you.
We'll look forward to the budget process.
Yes. Zooming.
Zooming process. Okay. Take care. Thanks. Joanne. Bye.
Looking forward to the budget process. I didn't think I'd ever hear those words.
I was teasing her.
Okay.
But yeah, I think we're going to be okay. So
I think so as well.
yeah, good. Okay, so unless anyone has any further comments on the presentation Joanne just gave, we could just roll right into the resolutions.
Great.
Resolution 713-1 of 2020, resolution accepting and recognizing the independent audit financial reports for the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2019, and the independent audit report on communication of internal control matters identified in the audit.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Resolution 713-2 of 2020, resolution approving budget revisions to the Town of Hyde Park budget for the period of June 2020, budget revisions number 2020-06.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Okay, Resolution 713-3 of 2020, resolution authorizing the release of a driveway bond for Patricia and Patrick McLaughlin for property location 34 Kyle Court, Hyde Park.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Resolution 713-4 of 2020, resolution authorizing the town supervisor to execute a contract for the Town of Hyde Park Police Department with Lexpol LLC for services that offer a one-source solution for policy management, training, content, and implementation that fully meets the New York State Division of Criminal Justice Law Enforcement accreditation standards.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
And if I could just speak to that for a moment, and
Yeah.
probably could have talked about it when Joanne was presenting the audit. You know, we are showing results in our checkbook, but we're also seeing results in our different departments.
Yes.
We've really invested a lot in our police over the last few years, between police cars, new software, new training, and this is another example of investing in our staff. And this Lexipol will produce completely updated rules and regulations for our department, which are much needed, and we look at it as an investment in
No
our
doubt.
people. So, and it is an investment over time, though. So, you know, we will
Needs to
have
be done.
we will have to make allowance for that in the budgeting for 2021.
All right.
Resolution 713-5 of 2020, resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Board to approve vacation carryover for Town of Hyde Park Police Assistant Jennifer Lafeve.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Okay. Resolution 713-6 of 2020, resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Board to rescind resolution 46-20 of 2020, which accepted the 2020 New York State Office of Children and Family Services Youth Development Grant to the Dutchess County Department of Community and Family Services for the Town of Hyde Park Recreation Learn to Swim program.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 713-7 of 2020, resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Supervisor to execute a street lighting authorization order with Central Hudson Gas and Electric Corporation for a street light to be added on Richard Road in the Town of Hyde Park.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, and thank you, Joe, for making that work.
Yes, it'll be a great addition for that dark corner.
Yep.
All right, so this is as amended, Resolution 713-8 of 2020. Resolution authorizing entrance onto the properties located at 4335 Albany Post Road, Hyde Park, 4407 Albany Post Road, Hyde Park, 5 Sycamore Drive, Hyde Park, and 6 Curry Lane, Hyde Park, to bring these properties into compliance with the standards of Chapter 85-5B of the Town Code and to assess the cost of such action against the properties as a lien in charge on the same.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
No way.
Resolution 713-9 of 2020, resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Supervisor to execute nunc pro tunc the Town Board's consent to having Dutchess County BOCES act as lead agency for the secret review of the Dutchess County BOCES campus-wide renovation and water project.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And actually, we're going to add at the dais another resolution regarding seeker review, but we'll get through this and then we'll introduce that.
This is it. The last resolution. Basically, hold number 10.
Okay, so so that was it. Okay, so Warren, we just received that today, the request to waive this for Mills Nori, the
It's a solicitation for lead agency for
that's
their.
it. Yes, that's it. So, may I have a motion to add that at the dais?
I make that motion.
Second?
And on favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Warren, can you?
Oh, okay.
Resolution?
So the resolution would respond to the lead agency letter package for the project at Norrie Mills Park and authorize the town supervisor to sign the solicitation indicating that the town of Hyde Park consents to New York State Office of Park, Recreation, et cetera, acting as lead agency for the project.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second?
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, the ayes have it. Okay, so just as a reminder, again, our meetings will begin at 6 p.m. from now on. We had to make a decision for our August meeting whether to conduct it via Zoom or an in-person meeting. And because there were still 15 cases in Hyde Park of COVID, and it just seemed safer that we continue with the Zoom for August, and then we'll make a decision for September.
Good.
So I think that's really it for tonight. May I have a motion to adjourn?
I make that motion.
And I'll second it gladly.
But before we go, I just want to wish Senator Sue Serino a quick recovery. I saw that she came down with a little bit of cancer, so
Yep.
hopefully her recovery is swift and she responds well. And you know, she's a Hyde Parker, and
Right.
I'm sure all of us are wishing her a speedy recovery.
Absolutely. Nice, Ken.
Sure, Ken. Absolutely. Okay, so did we do the motion to adjourn? Yes.
We didn't vote on it.
All right,
I'll
well,
second.
and all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, everyone, stay well and healthy, and thanks.
You
Good
too.
to see
Thanks,
You
Supervisor.
too all.
Thank-
Bye.
Thanks, guys.